Madam Secretary, if you could please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Miss Nunley, Miss White,
Here.
Mr. Tassinari, Mr. Nolan, Mr. Nolan.
He's muted.
I'm here. I'm sorry, my dog's in the background. I'm trying to keep the noise level down.
That's okay. And Chairman Shoemaker.
Here, thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Next, we have the review and the adoption of the meeting agenda. I trust everyone received the electronic copy of the agenda a couple days ago. If there are no changes, I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Okay. Well,
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a second. Anyone opposed? Okay, the meeting agenda is adopted. We do have a quorum. There's 3 of us here, so we'll go ahead and proceed. Next, we have the public comment period, and Travis, I believe, if I don't see anyone in there. Do you see anyone there that might want to speak?
No, sir, there's no one left in the,
I add.
there is no one in the waiting room, and I believe everyone you see is on the call, so.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to into unfinished business. And this has to do with the approval of the adoption of the 2020 Board of Zoning Appeals Annual Report. You should have received an electronic copy. Thank you, Yvonne, for making the final touches and getting the appropriate county format in place. I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2020 Board of Zoning Appeals Annual Report.
I make a motion that we approve the annual report as resubmitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? Madam Secretary? Very good. Madam Secretary, would you call for the votes?
Yes, sir. Miss White,
Yes.
Mr. Nolan,
Yes.
Mr. Tassinari, Miss Nunley, Chairman Shoemaker.
Yes. Very well. So we have adopted the annual report. I'll be able to submit that at the next Board of Supervisors meeting, I believe the end of this month. I do have a question for Ms. Graham. I wasn't sure. Olivia had asked that we try to get this submitted to her tomorrow morning. Does the document typically get signed before we send it on?
We should be signing it. Is there a way that you can electronically sign it and email it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you. And I'll be sure to have that done. Okay, moving on to new business. We have before us the approval and the adoption of the amended 2020 bylaws. Again, each of you should have received an electronic copy. I highlighted the actual change. We did an insertion on that. And thank you, Mr. Nolan, for your input on the clarity of the words. This amendment provided some additional clarity on the roles to work with the planning administrator on executing certain duties. So if there are no objections or changes, I would entertain a motion to adopt the changes as presented.
No objections, just a question for clarification for Ms. Graham. Is the planning administrator the director of community development, or is that a different position?
It's actually the director of planning.
Okay, so that's not you in your office, that's the director of planning.
That would be me.
Oh,
I'm
it's
the
you
interim right now.
Yeah, I think it's common wordage for, I think that's what's presented in state code, isn't it?
I would have to double check it.
Yeah.
I know before, I think we had zoning administrator, and then it went to director of planning.
Are we calling it out correctly, Sherry, in the rules, or should that a different term be used there?
Probably the director of planning. instead of planning administrator? I think before it was zoning administrator.
So do you guys want to make an amended change to that?
Whatever, it sounds like it's all the same position. We're just trying to get the title correct. So whatever Sherry tells us is the correct title. If that's the only change, I would make a motion that we approve them with that one edit.
Okay, and what was the name of that title?
Director of planning.
Director of Planning. Okay. All right. Do I have a second to amend that as Mr. Nolan noted as Director of Planning? I'll need a second to approve that. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I
Okay.
can't second my own motion.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So Doris, do you second it?
I do second it. I'm sorry. I was reading.
That's okay. And by the way, just a little bit of information on parliamentary procedures. When it's a small group or you're limited on the number of people, a second is not required. I know some people it's nice to have a second. A second is actually in place to prevent manipulation of discussions and so forth. If you don't have somebody that can second it, then it prevents the discussions from occurring. So we do have a properly second. Do we have any discussion? Okay, Madam Secretary, could you call the roll for votes?
Yes, sir. Ms. White,
Yes.
Mr. Nolan,
Yes.
Ms. Nunley, Mr. Tassinari, and Chairman Shoemaker.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Awesome. So next on new business is to discuss the member term limits. And I don't know if you guys all, I just sent out a copy of what Sherry sent me. It just kind of lists all of the folks and their when their terms end. And first of all, I already announced it earlier, but I'll go ahead and announce it now for the meeting that Sergio Tarsinari resigned on February 9th to be effective March 1st, or as soon as we have a replacement, whichever is sooner. So that being said, I don't anticipate us having another meeting this month. So I accepted his resignation as tendered. And I would like for it to be reflected in the minutes that the resignation was accepted and the board thanks him for his service. Does everybody have the document in front of them?
Which one are we looking for, Ben?
It's the one it's the most recent one I think I sent. It has the terms.
Oh, the rules and procedures?
No, the board members and their terms. There it is. I did notice that under Ms. White, it said term ended 6/30/2020. I guess that must have been renewed.
It was renewed for
just-
5 years.
Right, so that should go to 2025, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Agree.
all right. We'll make that change.
I'm sorry, Ben, did you say that you emailed that out to us?
Thought I did. I'll go ahead and shoot out another copy. Give me just a second.
Oh, no, that's all right. If you sent it, I'll look for it.
Yeah, it was, you were on the list, Mr. Nolan.
I just sent a fresh one to you. Fresh off the press.
I see it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Your email is anything like mine, as you got plenty to look at.
No kidding.
Anyway, so just for us to review, we do have one that's coming up for in June, and I think that was Laura Nunley. I was going to actually ask her tonight if she was stay on, but she is not with us this evening. So that would just be one that comes up. I know, Sherry, do you know what we have done so far? I think I saw a posting on the website. Olivia?
I had Olivia go ahead and post it out to fill the term that's unexpired for Sergio. She's gotten one application in so far. Hopefully she'll get a couple more in, and then they'll go to the board, and then the board will make recommendations to y'all for another member for your board.
Very well. Okay. And do you know, just for, and I hope you don't mind me asking, I know Yvonne, did Yvonne apply?
I didn't see your application.
Okay.
Is that something if you want to apply, Olivia certainly can shoot you a board bank application.
No, I actually had one and was indeed just considering it. So within the next day or so, I'll, make a decision to move forward on that.
Thank you.
And it's my understanding that the secretary can serve both as the office of secretary and a member, a regular voting member.
That would,
I don't, let's double check that. I don't think they can be a voting member.
Yes, they can.
in the laws and procedures,
Yeah.
rules and procedures.
The not just a secretary, but a board member can be a secretary. A secretary alone does not have voting rights, but if the
Okay.
a
Right.
board member can be a secretary. Okay, so
and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was actually one of my concerns. Is I had just come on board as the secretary, and and with the new changing climate, I didn't want to jump just having taken on the responsibility so recently. So.
Well, if you don't mind the double duty, I think our rules allow for that.
Oh, absolutely don't mind the double duty. Again, like I said, I just felt a little, it was just a little bit of funny feeling having just come on board and then thinking about moving on into another position. So yeah, I'm glad that was clarified. Thanks.
okay, well, Sherry, did you have anything else to add to the process and how long that might take?
I don't think so. Hopefully we'll get a couple more applications in, and then Olivia can send them out to the Board of Supervisors so they can make recommendations to y'all. I would like to get Laura's information as to whether she's going to stay on or not. Sometimes, it's not something that's going to happen the next month. And if she's not, we can plan ahead for it.
It's a good idea. I will try to reach out to her by phone next couple of days and see if I can get a hold of her. I was surprised I got a response from her a couple of days ago saying that she would be at the meeting Wednesday, but when we rescheduled, she said she may be running late. So I will reach out to her and let you know what I find out. All right. Any questions for Sherry?
Sherry, just wondering if you knew of anything coming up.
I've had a few people that have called inquiring, but I've had no applications in.
Anybody else? Okay, if there's no further business before us, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen and madam.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Everyone stay safe.
Travis,
Hey, yeah, be safe in all this weather, y'all.
Yes, you too.
Thanks.
Have a good evening.
You
Good
too.
night.